Start spreading the news.
And at this moment, we knew we weren't gonna make it. 3 hours later.
Welcome to the second attempt of visiting El Clot. I'm Sharon and I will be your guide for the background and history of the Clot. The Clot is located in the Sant Martí district. This neighborhood is one of the oldest ones in the district. Currently, El Clot has a population of over 27,000 people. The area dates back to medieval period when it was known as Clot de la Mille, a name deriving from a rich farmland and high-quality honey that was produced here. The area since then developed a strong industrial background, as many textile factories and flour mills were constructed here later on. El Clot has a working-class background and is considered to have a large Catalan population, with very few tourists. As we walked around the neighborhood, we noticed that the streets were very open, a lot more quiet compared to the other neighborhoods that we have been to. Another thing we noticed was graffiti. Now, we have seen a lot of different types of graffiti all over Barcelona, especially on our walking tours as a class. But the graffiti in El Clot specifically focuses on voicing political opinions and communicating with the public. The political graffiti are citizens speaking out towards the political officials that represent them, specifically in Madrid, where they believe they are repressing their identity as Catalans. We also noticed yellow ribbons and sprayed graffiti in almost every corner and all sidewalks. Currently, the neighborhood is still developing and growing larger. As you can see, there is a lot of construction going on all over various parts, a lot of work and a lot of progress for various apartment complexes and perhaps more shops and restoration of historical sites to help drive in more tourism. This is a concern for residents because of potential rise in real estate and more traffic in their quiet neighborhood.
The neighborhood is also home to several workers' unions dating back to the 19th century, when factories dominated the neighborhood. The first used to be housed in the cultural center. After the Democratic Revolution of Spain, it was taken over by the citizens and turned into an ateneo, which is a workers' library, where meetings for the factory workers were held. Workers were encouraged to improve their knowledge in order to move up higher in the company or unionize to get better working conditions. Work days could be 12 hours long, with short lunch breaks, and children often started working at the ages of 8 or 6. Entire families could be employed by a single factory. The biggest Spanish unions are the UGT, or the Unión General de Trabajadores, and the PSOE, the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, but more existed at the time. Meetings are still held at the cultural center, though unions have lost some of their bargaining power.
So Jordan, why do you think people would come back and visit El Clot? Or why do you think people choose this neighborhood to live in?
I think people choose this neighborhood solely because it's not very touristic, and it's still close to the city, but it's kind of on the outskirts, so you're not really in like the hustle and bustle of like all the different touristic areas, but you can still get to like the city very easily by like a 20-minute walk, and it's very like accessible to different areas of Barcelona, but it's still like its own neighborhood and has like its own character from the rest of the other neighborhoods.
Hi guys, I'm Lindsay, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of the Centre Cultural La Fadinera del Clot, which is on the edge of the neighborhood next to the freeway. The cultural center started as a flour factory, where the word farinera comes from, founded in 1892. The original building is in the Modernista style, with a characteristic brick exterior and Catalan arches inside, built by Joaquim Rivera. Although it's been renovated a few times since then, the brick building you see dates back to the original structure. After being taken over by the Barcelona City Council in 1995, it was opened as a cultural center in 1999. Today, it houses a wide range of activities, from photography exhibitions to theater performances to pottery classes. There are study rooms, art studios, and 2 dance spaces inside. A small school operates there as well. Local organizations use the space to teach Catalan culture, which we'll see more of next with Jordan.
Hi guys, this is Jordan, here to talk about Park El Clot, the biggest park in the neighborhood, and an important center of community life. Designed in 1986 by Daniel Freixa and Vincent Miranda, the park preserves some of the old factories that used to make up part of this town, as well as parts of El Clot railway station and railroad repair shops. These structures pay homage to the factories that contributed to the success of El Clot in the 18th and 19th centuries through today. You can see here a 25-meter long aqueduct that runs inside of the park that starts inside of a lake and ends with a waterfall. This sculpture here is called Wreaths of Spring, and it was created in 1986 by the sculptor Brian Hunt. That is made out of old train station parts. At over 4 meters high, it brings the image of falling water to mind. It stands in the middle of the park. Outside, a small fountain with a pineapple stand, also in its own pool. The pavilion housing these 2 structures was restored during the park's latest refurbishment, which also included the remodeling of pavement and landscaping. Restoration continues today with the protection of the factory walls and construction along the edges of the park. Hey Lindsay,
Hi.
What was your favorite part of the El Clot?
I really liked the gardens. They were like really cool, and Trin and I had a couple of like minor adventures on them, and it was wicked fun to see like all like the little kids and like just like people playing soccer and stuff. It reminded me of home a lot.
How do you think this neighborhood is like different compared to like other ones that we've seen since we've been here?
It's definitely like really residential, you know. There's like almost no tourists. No one speaks English, which is like kind of weird because like I feel like a lot of the areas we hang out in are like very touristy, like La Sagrada Familia and all this stuff. Clot doesn't have anything like that, you know. There's like trees and like houses and like no, like I haven't seen like any commercial food here, so. Hi guys, it's Lindsay, back again to take you through another important neighborhood center, the Mercat del Clot. It's one of the oldest continuously used structures here. The market dates back to the 18th century when local farmers gathered here to sell their fruits and vegetables to the public. In 1889, the market was covered with a pre-modernista structure with an iron frame and brick walls. It's shaped almost like a church, with the inside divided into 3 naves where sellers sell their wares. The market sells almost everything you can think of, from fruits and vegetables to clothes and trinkets. The graffiti, splashed across every wall, also represents the cultural fabric of the neighborhood, with its bright colors and vivid imagery. As you can see, each piece is unique, and each plays its own role in the decoration of the market. There's more than just artwork here, too. There are cooking classes and shows on the weekends. Its location, right in the center of the neighborhood, makes it a very important part of day-to-day life.
Hello all, this is Juliana here, taking you through the streets of El Clot. First, this is Carrer de Rogent. It is actually the last street built in this area as part of the Eixample. It is similar to the infamous La Rambla, but for locals in the neighborhood. The shops here close for lunch and siestas at about 2 o'clock, and only some of the stores open up again at 4:30. There are no major brand boutiques or fast food restaurants here. This street has shops for the people of the neighborhood.
We discovered this construction on Carrer de Rogent that shows the gentrification that is beginning to occur in the neighborhood. This new building is going to be quite modern from the rest and is definitely going to stand out. Okay, so what's something that you knew about the neighborhood before coming here?
Honestly, I didn't know much about El Clot. When I was Googling things before this trip about things to do in Barcelona, nothing about El Clot came up. Even when for this project I was trying to find things to do in El Clot, nothing was coming up. And what we've learned by walking around this neighborhood is that it's because it's not a tourist neighborhood. It's more for the locals and the neighbors. And most shops close for lunch and dinner very early, and they don't open on Sundays either. It's very quiet here. Now we are turning onto Carrer de Valencia. This street runs through the city of Barcelona. It originated in the Eixample and was later extended through El Clot. It was officially named on January 1st, 1900 by the poet Victor Balaguer.
So, Shirin,
Yes,
how would you describe El Clot in one word?
it's very peaceful.
So, why would you describe it as peaceful?
As you can see around us, it's very quiet. Not too many people, not too many cars, lots of families. We're the only tourists around here, and I'm liking it.
What was your favorite part about El Clot?
I would say my favorite part was definitely Park El Clot, just because it was very different from the other parks that we've seen. Very family friendly, people playing with their kids in the swing, kids playing soccer. I felt like I was out of park in a neighborhood where I grew up.
Nice.
Now we are entering Parroquia de Sant Martí del Clot, or the Parish of Sant Martí del Clot. Sant Martí is the patron saint of mixed race people, barbers, innkeepers, public health workers, and more. There is a small plaza in front of the church with a statue of Sant Martí. This church was built by Pere Falquez. It was built from 1882 to 1903. In 1936, it was burned and had to be demolished. The current church we see today was built in the 1940s. Spain was ruled by Franco at this time, so it was reconstructed with a simple design. It has 3 naves, an apse, and a 2-watered roof. As you can see, it has much less ornamentation than other churches in Barcelona. This contributes to it having almost no tourism and functioning simply as a neighborhood church and parish. With that being said, let's head out. My colleagues and I would like to thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoyed your tour of El Clot today, and you learned more about this working-class neighborhood in Barcelona, and most importantly, why Professor Dagenet wants to retire here. Adieu.